There are certain ways we have been doing things all our life, and then there are alternative perspectives. At Spill the Tea, we spill those alternatives or unconventional ideas through our awesome guests from around the world who have been challenging the conventional through their journey to achieve great things. Welcome to Spill the Tea podcast. This is your host, BB. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. And if you really enjoy the show, do give us a 5-star rating. So sit back and get inspired. Today, I'm glad to talk to someone from a place I call my second home, the magnificent Malaysia. Welcome to our show, Wuan Xin. How are you doing today?
Hi, and thank you for having me here. I'm doing okay. I had quite a number of meetings today.
Well, okay. So we can at least tell a happy Friday right now. It's 6 p.m., almost 6 p.m. your time, right?
Yep, it's 6 p.m. and yeah, we still have something going on at night tonight.
Okay. Well, before we dive in, Wuan Xin, why don't you tell our listeners a brief about yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Wuan Xin. I'm the founder of AI Talent, and basically it's a company where we support children to do business. So we train children entrepreneurs, and that's what we do.
Wow. You train children to be entrepreneurs. So isn't that something unconventional? And this is a question I'm asking to our listeners, because when I found you on LinkedIn, and I should tell everyone where I got connected with you. I really admired this fact. In fact, I was very much inquisitive to find out what exactly you do, because children entrepreneurship, something which you don't hear every day. So let me straight away dive into the phrase which I found on your website. I read that my purpose, and I'm quoting that, what I read there. My purpose is to lead and guide children to find their purpose in life. How do you find this purpose of yours, Wuan Xin?
It's a long story, but I'm just gonna make it short. Now, when I was a child, I've been wondering, why should I be in this world? What should I do? What do I have that I can support the society? I've been asking, what do the adults do? How do you contribute to the society? But I couldn't get a good idea. I don't know what is my capability, right? What am I capable of?
Right.
So when I first started AI Talent, I see that children have a lot of potential, but they don't know what is their strength, how can they contribute to the society. So I decided to start AI Talent, and I say, why don't they try out different industry, right? As they go on, they will find out their strength. Maybe they are good at design, maybe they are good at public speaking, but the purpose of them having them in our world is an addition energy, right? So how can they find out what are they good at? How can they support the society? And that's when I realized that I should start this AI Talent.
Wow, some really big and impactful words, Wuan Xin. Purpose in life, and I wish I found you. No, it can't be that there, because we have a good age difference. I think I'm much elder to you. Well, we are not talking about age right now, but what I mean to say is, wish I found somebody like you when I was growing up, because what you just mentioned is everybody finds their purpose or passion which they want to translate to a job or something that they are doing in life. Now, that can be entrepreneurship, that can be a service to a community, to a company, or to the country, anything. But what you are kind of doing is, and that's what I read through your website at AI Talent and the discussions we had in the past, is you are guiding the children towards finding their purpose and getting more skillful on what they love to do. Have I articulated it in the right way? Okay.
Yes, you're right.
Fantastic. So, Wuan Xin, you mentioned about your experience as a child. So, tell us about your experience as a teenager.
So yes, I wanted to share when I was 14 years old, I started a T-shirt business, which is quite interesting. I worked with a few friends, right? So a group of us. One, he was a designer, and the other person, he was the person that was doing resource search, where he connect with the manufacturer, and I was the person that do the sales, right? So that time when we first started, I never thought of it as a business that time. But looking back, it's something that, it's like I planted a seed, right, of entrepreneurship that I started. And I never regret doing that, even though it was just break even. We didn't earn anything in a way. We just managed to cover back our costs. So that was one of the reasons that I decided to start AI Talent. I want children to start young and start learning, start finding out what they can do, right? So instead of just studying, why don't you do something practical? And that's what came to my mind.
Fantastic. And I think that was the curve in your life when you thought about it, because I'm pretty sure that as a teenager, when you started your t-shirt business, you never thought that you are doing a business or entrepreneurship. Probably you never even heard that word. But then eventually that was start of that idea, to do something, to give back something to the community, to the teenagers or the children. Now, when you look back, so when did you start AI Talent?
Oh, I started in around July 2019. Okay. So about 2.5 years now.
Wow, and you guys are doing really well. Just by checking your website. So what skills do your organizations cater to presently?
Right now, we focus on entrepreneurship skills. And of course, we have passed a lot of our program and we sold them to homeschools, international schools, where we train the teachers there and then they get their own students. And we expose children to different industry, but the main thing is really problem solving, teamwork. So how can they team up together, a group of 5, to solve a particular problem for that industry? So maybe I give you one example. We worked with an animation company before. So it was a 2 months project with the kids, 1 hour a week. The problem statement is design a mascot for a brand that doesn't have a mascot. And that was amazing, right? We look at the children's brand, it was mind-blowing because that brand can basically buy out their design because they have meaning and the reason why they designed that mascot. And it was a lot of modification, a lot of improvement in between.
Wow. And so that's huge, definitely, if we think about it. So now talking about the design skills. So you found on one hand, you had children who are passionate about designing. And then on the other hand, you might have also found the mentors who can actually train them on designs. That was the arrangement in this scenario?
So we, maybe just to make it clear, yes, we find CEOs to collaborate with us. Okay. That's one part where they are the main coach. We also have facilitators in between, meaning they are the middle person in between the students and the CEOs. Okay. Right? So they spend time with the children 1 hour a week, whereas we are the person that we collaborate with the CEO to come up with the syllabus. So we bring the business to a smaller chunk that children can understand and experience.
Wow, fabulous. What I was thinking about is that job as an adult, when a fresher starts his or her job, they go through an internship, they go through a training to be acquainted with the job culture and all the skills they acquire. So what you are doing right now, Wuan Xin, and your company is doing is you guys are providing a platform to the children right from their young age. Because remember, that's the age of creativity. And I can vouch that, I can talk about it because I am father to a 8-year-old and I know how creative my daughter is. So let me go back to the mentor question. Do you guys have entrepreneurs or mentors from different domains to teach various skills?
Oh, yes, definitely. So besides the animation example, we had coding before, coding project. We worked with a telecommunication company, DG, to support children on digital safety. We even did ice cream. So they were selling ice cream. We did digital marketing, shoe design. Recently, we just finished the Chinese New Year package, the ang pao design. And that was from a CEO from Taiwan. And we are doing videography now. So yes, we changed from industry to industry to expose children. It's not just about one industry, right? You have to understand how other industry works and see which one you fit. Yeah.
which one you fit. And because they also have to explore, they also have to find their call, their purpose, like you did, like we all have all did, maybe much later in our lives. So that makes me curious. You mentioned that the Ang Pao designs or some other project which you did, and you also mentioned that you tie up with international schools and bodies. So I also read about you on LinkedIn and on your website that you guys operate in 8 countries. So how did you do that? I mean, how did you take your business outside Malaysia? And which are the countries you cater to?
Right. Okay, so I'll share the countries that we're catering now at the moment. So we have expanded our program to 8 countries. So that's, of course, Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, Japan, Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, and Cambodia. So all these countries, they have their schools that purchase our program, and then they run it at their school. Now, in terms of how I expanded to these countries, they say COVID, it's a good and a bad thing, right? I would say it's a blessing in disguise, because previously I have to fly to another country to meet people, right? But because of COVID, a lot of people, they are very comfortable with Zoom meetings, with virtual meetings. And that's the moment where we get to talk to more schools, more educators in other countries. And the moment when we get to do that, they really, really like our program, especially Japan. I was very surprised, right? So Japan, because they want to expose their children not only to entrepreneurship, they want to expose children to English, and also they want their children to learn from children from other countries.
Yes, and be global.
Yes. So like what we call global classroom.
Right, global classroom. Look, entrepreneur is talking on this call, and we are so glad to interview an entrepreneur. You just spoke about not having to fly to other countries, but still get the work done. So a lot of cost saving in that sense as well. I feel that, and I totally agree with you with the point that I think we are more global during and after this pandemic than we were before. Because it says when humans face with a dire situation, that's when they start thinking creatively, and that's when things starts changing, and that's what happened because of the pandemic. So congratulations to you. You are working and extending your service to 8 countries, and maybe that 8 becomes 18 and 28, and the list should go on.
Oh, thank you, Vivi.
One very big factor in entrepreneurship is funding. Do you guys provide assistance on capital funding of any sense?
And you mean for children in that sense?
Yeah.
Oh, interestingly, we did a project on business pitching and how do you run through your entrepreneurship. And we collaborate with a venture capital. So he was basically getting the kids to do business pitch in 2 minutes.
Wow.
And he decide whether he wants to give them funding or not. And that was, of course, their first pitch, right? I mean, for me, I think I went through maybe 20 or even 100 pitches before I actually get it right. So it was quite interesting, because during that we see children come up with different ideas. Something like, they want to start a Lego library. They wanted to support medical supplies to underprivileged hospitals. So there were a lot of ideas. As for capital funding, tentatively not yet. Soon we will have. Right now we collaborate with venture capitals. Yes.
Venture capitalist. Okay. But I can clearly visualize a time when your trained children go to Shark Tanks and pitch their ideas and get VC or angel funding. So yeah, good. Oh my God, I'm so excited to talk to you about all these. Now, see, we touched on the pandemic and how that was blessing in disguise. On a negative side, it was not so much when it comes to mental health, both of adults and children. But since you deal with so many children, and that's a core backbone of your business, in your view, how has these last 2 years affected the mental health of our children? In general, whatever you have experienced.
Okay, so I'll start with, from school to online class. And definitely we see a lot of changes because they don't have that physical interaction with their friends. And that actually makes them want to go on virtual classroom more because they want to see their friends. And we notice that. However, having back-to-back virtual classes does affect the children a lot. And that's one thing that we want to fix it, because for a lot of virtual classes, children doesn't have that time to give input. During our AI talent classes, what we focus is children come up with your ideas, you talk, you lead, right? So the coach is there to just listen and guide you and give you feedback. But the rest of the time, the coach is supposed to just not say anything. So we let the children lead. So how do you solve this problem? All of you decide, all of you discuss. And that's what we focus on. Now, some of the effects that I've seen, of course, besides, not able to meet the other friends physically, so that kind of affected their teamwork. However, we still see children that are very excited because the moment they learn how to use Zoom and they were able to be flexible and adapt, and they share on their Facebook. It was quite cute, right? So they were sharing like, no, we were able to adapt. We are a new world. And they shared to their friends. That was quite cute. So it really depends on how they view the world. How they were being brought up, and they can never go back to how it was previously. So how can they work with the current situation now? That's more important. So the flexible, the adaptability, yes, that is that would be the right term. So how can they increase their adaptability?
I clearly see that your program helps children to channelize the missing link that we spoke about between physical class and an online class, and that socializing that happens. So I can clearly see that, your program and everything that you and your company does helps fix that. To make things a bit fun, and we are having fun, our listeners will really love to know, what does a typical day in life of Wuan Xin looks like?
Oh, interesting. Okay, how does my typical day look like? Okay, I would start off with a morning meeting, and usually the morning meeting will consist of meeting other business associates, meaning other business owners. So it will come together and we discuss how can we help each other. So in the sense, like, can we refer business to each other, or can we collaborate, or is it possible for us to kind of work together and sell to a client, right? So it's more of a discussion to see how we can work with other business owners. So that would be typically my morning. Before noon, usually I would set up a meeting with one of my team members. So it could be a social media side or my business partner that we discuss. And during the afternoon session, usually I would meet clients from other countries. So potentially investors, also school owners, and also some of them might be a business owner in another country that they want to expose children to that business. So example, we work with shoe manufacturer in Indonesia, right? So we will meet different business owners to discuss. We recently were discussing about solar, which is quite interesting. And we were discussing how can we bring it back to children. And then near evening before dinner, I would spend some time doing some exercise. So I can't live without exercise. I need to sweat, right? So I would spend some time exercising. And at night, I would spend time with my family. Occasionally, I would have meetings like my Lions Club meeting, or maybe some of the organization meeting that we have to do it at night. Not so much, but sometimes I do have. Yeah, so that would be my typical day. Definitely during lunchtime, I would meet my friends or maybe business associates for lunch. I love to have lunch meeting, definitely. So every day I will meet one person for lunch or tea.
And thank you for sharing that. If Spill the Tea team can share something with you, we would like Wuan Xin to start her day with a cup of tea and not a meeting. Okay. Okay, just kidding. But I'm sure you have your tea or coffee in the morning. So I was just joking about it. Well,
I love tea.
Okay, and you love to spill the tea with us. So we are glad you're doing that. We are coming to the end of our talk. Having said that, I was just trying to figure this out because you meet so many people outside, because you have to connect the business community with the skill community, which are children. How do you search for mentors or people who have the skills and are willing to teach those skills to the children? Do you have any specific way to do that?
Yes, so maybe I can share two of the ways that I look for it. So the first one, that because right now I'm joining Business Network International, so BNI, and that's where I get to connect to businesses over, across the world. And that's when I receive a lot of requests to do a meeting, and that's when I found a lot of our entrepreneurs. So that's one. The second way is, of course, LinkedIn. That's how we connected, right? So on LinkedIn, it's in a way, both ways, where sometimes I came across interesting profiles where we will arrange for a virtual meeting, but also I've received messages that say that they would love to collaborate with me. And I think these two ways have really expanded my network. And I have another group that is more of also a business owner group, where they are like next generations. So they also was very interested, right? They were very interested to work with me because they find that this is something that they wish they had and they want to have it for their next generation.
Thank you for sharing that, Wuan Xin. I'm glad.
Thank you so much.
We got to know so many things about you. Before we let you go, what is next for Wuan Xin?
Okay. So for myself, I think it's more of I'm starting to learn a lot about the law of attraction and how do I bring something that's inside out, right? So that's more of myself, which I'm currently doing a lot of research and learning from it. But in terms of my company, I am going to launch a children marketplace very soon in July. What I'm going to do is we are letting children to put their products, their services, and really start selling. So that's what I'm planning to launch in July.
I'm excited about that. I'm pretty sure you will not let me be a part there because I'm not a child anymore. But anyways, but on a serious note, children will love this because there's a lot of creativity in all the 8 countries which we spoke about. In a country, in an economy like India, and I am pretty sure you have plans to expand in India as well if in future. Our listeners can find this talk when we release this. So I'm going to mention all the links where our listeners can find this talk. How can they find you?
I think two ways. The first one would be my website, which is aitalent.net. I think that one would be the best way. And the second one, they can search me on LinkedIn.
Yes.
You can just search my name, WUANXIN, Wuan Xin, and they will be able to find my profile. So yeah, hope to connect with you there.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, BB.